Yep. Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Okay. I'm doing well. I just wanted to make sure I had the right number because I know last time I called you on a different one, so I didn't want to call you on one we weren't using today. So,
No problem.
um, yeah, so I got kind of, your information about how that visit went, and yeah, it sounds like that was a disaster. Um, and I hate that she was kind of overbearing, it seems.
Extremely.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said she was extremely overbearing.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so going forward, so this will be the only other visit that we have before the court date. We're on that session of the 18th. That's a week-long session. So I just need you on standby because I won't know what day we're going to actually end up until we do that calendar call that morning, because I know that they have at least 2 trials that are set what's called preempt, which means they have to start first.
Okay.
So once those finish up, we'll kind of know where we are. I'll give you as much possible advance notice. I mean, I'm not going to call you at like 9 and say, hey, I need you here at like 9:30, because I know that's not possible.
Right.
So,
is the possibility of us doing it like through Zoom or something available, or no?
Yes, we can still ask to do it by Zoom.
Okay.
No, Tiffany, I want to just clarify something else. Well, what do you mean by it's a week-long trial? What do you mean by that?
So that particular domestic session lasts a week. So it's 4 days of calendar for that session. So there are 4 possible court dates for hearings that are on that calendar.
Oh, okay. So there's a week long that there's an option to go one day, is what you mean?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were saying we're gonna meet, like we gotta meet and do the trial for a week.
Oh no.
Okay, I got you
We're not
now.
at the point where we would be in a week-long trial for
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, what?
Mm.
No, the session is a week-long, so which is good because it means they can move along the things that are set preempt and then still have time to get these, the shorter matters that are on the calendar handled too. So it's good when we have a long option like that.
Where do we stand right now as far as everything for this weekend and just where everything sits now? 'Cause, I mean, the DSS lady did come on town and gave me a call, let me know that it wasn't substantiated, but she had to wait until that official test paper was back,
Forensic.
That forensic thing. So where are we with that?
So I'm going to check. I'm going down there this afternoon. I'm going to check the court file and see if that has been sent in because it was supposed to come straight to the court file, and see if we've got everything that we were waiting on. We should, because as I was telling you in that email before, Dr. Brown retired, and I think that was effective April 1st. So she should have wrapped up everything that was pending, and that should be in the file. So we will, once I can look at that file, I'll tell you for sure there, and then DSS should have their report ready to close out.
No, there isn't anything that's different. I mean, because my thought process, I know that mistakes aren't made by DSS and the government, so they probably say something that's going to stick to it. So, is there anything that's going to be changing, or they just needed the official document from the test?
So to my knowledge, with DSS, from what the worker had said, was she was waiting on that official paperwork to come in before they could close out. So there's nothing that's been changed on that end that I'm aware of yet. Now, granted,
Hello? So basically, we're stuck dealing with fucking Lisa again this weekend because they won't have another trial now till the week of the 18th.
No, I know sometimes.
Which is not next week, but the week after.
I know sometimes I had issues with my hearing. She said she's going to follow up today.
Yes. She's going to go to the courthouse today to see if they got the report. We're back.
sorry, I don't know what happened. So I don't know that there's any change on that. I haven't gotten to check that court file yet. So that's what I'm going to do when I go down here.
Would it be? I mean, have you ever seen where that's happened before?
Where what?
Like as far as a situation like this in the past, where something unsubstantiated, then got to wait on a test to come back, it comes back, and then there's something else that's brought up, and that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, I do a lot of DSS work. Nothing really surprises me with them saying, "Oh, we're going to do this," and then, "Oh, well, we up this information, we're going to do that." But I think it would have to be something really, really severe for them to say, "Oh, well, now we're going to substantiate."
Yeah,
Because
so because what was going on me, I know that the test was and I'll let you explain that to us. That when I know Lisa couldn't do the request for that particular test because she's not the biological parent, but from the day that it was actually done was 9 days after the incident,
yeah,
and of course, and it's his finger and that kind of thing. So I mean, I guess I'm trying to, because a lot of crazy stuff has happened with this whole situation. So I just want to make sure that something ain't gonna just come out of the blue like that. I mean, because the one she called and let me know everything was fine. There's no issue with nothing. Just official paperwork, and she'll tell the judge. But she didn't have any. I'm not gonna say distress or anything, but she wasn't concerned much from when we were talking to her. Everything was pretty just cool and chill, and she was saying she's going to go tell Lisa what happened, and then from there, now we have to wait for the official this and that. So I was just trying to make sure that there's something that's not going to be surprising because it was his finger that we're talking about. So I don't know, and I know you can't 100% guarantee something, but I'm just kind of thinking the likelihood that anything new would come back just from that test.
well, it's my understanding, that they did a forensic interview, which is basically where the doctor does like, I mean, they're going to do a whole body, look at him,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that there's nothing going on. But the focus was the finger, um, and those medical records were supposed to come straight to the courthouse. So as long as they've come in and they've been redacted, then I can see them. They'll be in the file. So I'm going to go pull that today, and then I'll be able to tell you a little bit better
I
on that
understand.
respect. But I haven't heard. I would imagine that if something crazy had come from that the DSS worker would have already contacted you
Yeah,
again.
and that's more so what I was thinking. Like, if there's any way this could go the opposite direction, because I mean, I'm telling my wife that that this is something that's serious, and I'm not gonna tell her something and it not true. I'm not gonna say anything is
Right. Yeah.
not there. So, and I was saying, if you have ever seen that in the past, something like this, have you ever come across a situation like that? That when that test came back, even with something as minute as his finger like that things changed.
Well, honestly, most of the ones that I've dealt with, when they have done those forensic interviews, it's been a more serious allegation to begin with, not just like a swollen finger. Um, so there have been ones where we got surprising information from those. I don't think that's going to be the case here because your contact with him was limited to basically like an hour or two. So in those situations, we found broken bones that were healing that nobody knew about. That's not even a question here because you
Mm-hmm.
one has not had access to him for there to be any concerns like that. So
Okay.
um, I wouldn't expect there to be anything crazy and surprising coming out of that
Okay.
forensic. Now, what her opinion is on his finger and whether it was hurt, the source of that, that's what I'm interested in. But
We're not denying that his finger was hurt or that even that it was a possibility that, accidentally it happened. I mean, that was something we've said to all the DSS people that have talked to us. I mean, so that's not really a dispute there as to,
right,
but as to being it intentional, no, it wasn't. It was an accident. So I mean,
yeah,
everybody, we've not made a secret, no, not like, oh, we didn't touch him. I mean, none of that
Mm-hmm.
has happened. I mean, there's been no denying the fact that he had an injury to his finger.
Did I
yeah,
send you? Did I send you the video and pictures from that day, Tiffany?
yes,
Okay.
yes, I've
So
got those in the file.
yeah. Okay. So that's why I was
And
thinking
I
about it from there.
saw,
Hmm.
yeah, and I saw a picture. I think we talked about last time. I saw the picture that they were using to like show the injury, and I could not really see anything.
Well,
It clearly
it didn't
may
look
be a
red or
little.
swollen to us either. So,
And that video I
Yeah,
gave you was an hour and a half after we came from outside when they were all watching.
so
Yeah, like because Kim
when
was
it
trying. He was
supposedly
trying to
happened.
get away from. Well, he was trying to hold on to Lisa and to Amanda, and he didn't want to visit. So he was crying and having a fit and that kind of thing. So when I got him away from him and we sat down on the ground on that sidewalk, the police was looking, and then the people across the street they were looking. It may have been others, I don't know, but during the time they said it happened, they were just sitting there. They didn't see anything to say anything at all. So that's I'm just thinking about that part because so much has happened here. But I'm on the same page with you. We never know what's gonna happen, but they talked about his finger and all that. So but I think our biggest thing right here is So we're gonna go ahead and message her that we'll meet this Saturday. But what options at all do we have? Because this was a 3.5 hour ride there, 3.5 hour ride back, and she literally started the whole drama mess in front of Kendrick, which we're not supposed to do. And she didn't leave the table so I could spend time with him. I asked her just to go down to one of the further areas to sit. You could still see us, but we can't meet with him good if you're just sitting real close like that. And the
Yeah.
first thing she said was that she's trying to be gracious to us, like doing us a favor, and that she could. I mean,
That her
what?
lawyer said she could sit at the table with us if she chose. So can we? Is there some way to get some sort of parameters in place
You know,
that we all know about?
wait a second. Huh?
Yeah,
sorry.
well, so I've reached out to her attorney to kind of request, okay, look, be eyes on or whatever, but don't be right up on top of them. Whether or not she's going to do that, I can't guarantee on this visit. But going forward with the court, if something crazy comes up and the court wants to keep supervised for a little while, then we would address those concerns about who that supervisor is, where those are occurring, like you were asking in the email about, meeting in Asheville versus Rutherford. Absolutely.
Do
Those are
you
all things
so
that
for
we're
this so for this visit here, what is supposed to be our protocol? What can we do? There's nothing, or can we ask just to kind of leave a bit? Like what do you recommend we do this weekend?
Yeah, so I've kind of, like I said, I've kind of reached out to her attorney to document that, okay, this is how the last visit went. Can you please speak with your client about, not being right up on them? That really disrupts the visit. It's not good for the child, and we don't need to be talking about the visit and the court stuff in front of the child. So it's documented that that's going on. As far as what can we make her do this go round, I can't really make her do
Yeah.
anything that's not already in the order because our court date is after this visit. Um,
Did her
but
did
if
her
that's
attorney
the
did her attorney did he respond to you that he talked to her or anything like that?
He's not responded to me yet, which is not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he is very slow to get back, and sometimes I think, like with the last time, he may be talking to her, but then he doesn't tell me that he talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he never did respond when we were going back and forth last time
Yeah.
about the location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
You
she
guys
just
actually
messaged us.
told
Yeah.
me, yeah, he never verified that he had talked to her. So, and that may be the case again. But I'll send it out again, just so I have it to, reiterate, hey, they got a visit coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just so we have it.
So I want to ask you, and please be extremely blunt and realistic with me. Don't worry about hurting our feelings. We just want to make sure we get it, okay? So with this whole situation, how this is going, when this whole thing is resolved, uh, what's the likelihood of us being able to change now with the custody part? And the reason why I'm asking is because of the 2 years it took for her to actually do what was supposed to happen. And then now we get to the first unsupervised visit, and then this happens. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of time that we're putting. And, lawyers, we need them, but they're not cheap. And the fact that she's done this stuff has set us back a little bit financially. It has really, really been a hindrance. We can't visit with him, and I just, if she was working with us, then I would be better with it. But the fact that, again, she's making him lie to me about stuff, and I've recorded him saying that kind of thing, the way he's had these meltdowns and yelling and screaming in public, the things he's told us that happens that she hasn't said. I mean, there's a lot of that going on. Is there any way at all that we can not have to finish this whole 12 unsupervised visits before we even do anything from there? Because Kendrick is not in a good place right now. I mean, I don't think they're beating him or anything. But again, I have recorded too. He was told he did not have brothers or sisters. He has two
Right.
brothers, and I told him that, and I have that recorded as well.
And now they're talking to each other.
And it's and my ex-wife and Lisa, they're all talking right now too. So it's a very, very tense situation. And Just for me personally, I think that there's a lot of pain and suffering going on with this. This is something that's been about 6 years going, and I've always had to make a more the effort. Living in Albany, Georgia, is 6 hours away from the court there, and they live, Lisa, they live maybe about 10 minutes down the road, and I would always have to come. I wasn't working good, in and out the hospital, and it was tough to get there. So I got up there, spent the money I didn't have just to get it continued every time. And it's been so much of that mess. And we have, even during COVID, we did not stop seeing him. She just made stuff so much more difficult and would not work with us at all. So now we have this situation going, and and this is not to you, obviously, but I just don't think it's going to be fair for her to put us through all of this stuff and things still remain the same. Because she's not helping this. And the way that Kendrick was, Tiffany, what you saw with the video with him and us, a bunch of videos I can show too, he ran away from us to go to her. He was screaming, Tiffany, that is not my son. He does not do that at all. And he like he was afraid. And it just it's so many things that are happening, the things that we know that's going on that she doesn't know we know. And Kendrick is, I mean, I honestly feel like he's in danger. I really do, because it's at a point where now the defiance that he has in some aspect is something that he's actually doing himself because he's allowed to do it. And it's just not it's not good at all. He even spoke to us in the past about skin color and why people say this and do this. It wasn't just a matter of fact question. I mean, it's stuff that he saw that people said, and that's the kind of thing he was telling us about. I mean, at one time, his PP hurt, trying to do one thing on the slide. I got some other picture with a couple bruises on his back. Now, all that's for is to see maybe he was roughhousing, maybe not. But those are there. There's some scratches on him. I mean, there's so much. He got exposed to COVID twice, and we didn't know about it. And he had to go to the emergency room one night. She let me know that they took him. It was about 7:30. I think she said he went. And then the next morning, he had bronchitis. And the next morning, she took him to church with the early service. I mean, he's a 4 or 5 year old kid that has severe bronchitis going on and a breathing issue. And she took him to church, and that's during COVID. I mean, it's just so much of that stuff that's going on. The way that she disrespected me in front of him, she was holding him and basically telling me why we need to be grateful for her, and this is really what's going on. Just being extremely disrespectful. He is right there, and I asked her, please, just put him down, go a step away. You can still see us, but we can't visit with him if you're right here on top of us. There was no acknowledgement, anything. All she was talking about was her lawyer said she could do this and that. Okay, but we don't know that. So that's kind of how this stuff has been. The things that are in place that actually affect something, we don't know about those. So,
Right.
with the visit part two, with the 2 year thing, we communicate with her about being late because of traffic, send her time and pictures and all that. And we're in traffic for an hour, 10, 15 minutes late. Now we're meeting, they understand, but we didn't know that started all the way over again as far as the 12 consecutive supervised visits. And then if he had a breakout in the skin, he had an asthma attack going on, he was sleepy, we're sitting there with him. It's hot outside. You need to have him standing, he's sweating something. So we concur to go ahead and end the visit. But she didn't say that when we do that, now we have to start all the way over again. She kept doing stuff like that. So way too long. And we drive from here to Asheville, which was about 2 hours for us. And then on the second Saturday and the fourth one, we drive all the way there. And she only comes to Asheville and that's an hour drive. I mean, it keeps going on. So what is the likelihood we can get something else done so this does not continue that way?
Yeah. So I think once this emergency is behind us and the status of that is dealt with, then it's up to the court to decide. Okay, do they want to see as many unsupervised visits as they ordered initially happen before they transition into something else, or is that something that they're comfortable with potentially modifying? My my thought will probably be that the court will probably That's what I would say.
would it be a possibility? And if it won't work, that's cool. But when she was talking about making sure that my body was strong enough to be able to have him there, 'cause that was in the paperwork information from the judge that she was saying that I physically was not capable. But which that's not true, but that's okay. She put that down there, and she said that he and I need to have a parent-child relationship. So if we're able to show that we do have a relationship, would that change at all? Because these are the things that she wanted to see. We're already past the time where we should have been doing it, and
Right.
it's not just us laughing and joking around. I mean, this conversation we're having, we're bonding with him. If we can show them that, do you think we still have to do the unsupervised visit in total? Because it's when you see us together, the three of us, there is no fear or apprehension. I mean, he
Point.
loves me. He loves Jennifer. He actually said to us that she's his stepmom and he loves her. He's talking that way. So that's what
Right.
I'm just curious if that would do anything in your opinion.
Yeah, I think that once this
I have a
emergency is out of
question
the
if I
way and we
could
know
get
that
one
there's
in.
Yeah, go ahead.
nothing
Yeah.
to it, and we can pick back up with those unsupervised and we can get back to how the visits were happening, um, then it would be my hope that we could show the court before that total 12 ordered as it was, that we would have a review and say, okay, look, these are going great. We want to go ahead and move forward. We want to modify that order. Um, so that would be what I would hope would happen.
Okay.
It's just going to hinge on what the court does with the emergency part of it and how those visits start back up.
I have a question for you, if I could.
Uh-huh.
Um, if there is no way to verify or know for sure that the situation that happened last visit is not going to happen again, if her lawyer is not communicating with you and we have no assurances that she's not going to behave the same way again, what happens if we choose not to do this visit? Is that going to be an issue?
Yeah, I think you need to do this visit no matter what. Um, but, she records everything that you do. You can hit record on your, I mean, it doesn't have to be a video. You hit record on your phone
Mm-hmm.
and record audio. And just where you're asking her, hey, can you please give us a little bit of space so that he's not so upset, and then that says a lot about how she's worked with you and how this has happened up to this point. But I think you need to do this visit no matter what because that shows your commitment to making this work no matter what obstacles she's trying to throw in there.
Okay.
Will there not be any kind of option, opportunity for some financial restitution with this?
Any kind of what? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Financial restitution from it. Because again, so like the visit we had last time, she was supposed to be away and she was not at all. She sat right where we were. To the point, my wife had to go sit in the car because it got too heated. And what she's saying, when we meet with him this weekend, what how are we supposed to be with her if she's not going to step away and let us bond with him? That's still 2.5 hours one way. They have to do it the other way with that, and it's the same situation. The visit didn't happen. Spend all that money that we don't need to be spending. She doesn't follow the court order either. So just what I don't know. Like, what are our options there? That, or do we just have to sit there and just deal with it for now?
Well, I think in terms you were asking about the financial part of it, if the court finds during any portion of the case that she's acting in bad faith, they can award you portions of attorney's fees for having to address those things. So that usually comes up like the end of the case.
Okay.
Um, as far as like coming and having to spend money to come to these visits that she's kind of derailing, don't know that they can actually do anything on that end of it, but I mean, they can definitely admonish her and take that into consideration and give it weight on what those future visits look like. And so that would kind of be my intention on how to use it is like if if she's continuing to do that and it's kind of undermining your ability to continue this relationship and yeah, I mean it's like at every turn, she's
Mm-hmm.
trying to make it more difficult and make sure that things don't progress like they should progress. That would be my intention on using it that way.
Okay, because I mean, she's actively trying to derail this situation. She doesn't
Yeah.
want us to get custody of Kendrick.
Yeah.
She is not making any
Well,
effort to facilitate that relationship with him.
Yeah.
She is trying
And
everything she
also,
can.
yeah.
Excuse me for interrupting you, but
Oh, you're fine.
you have children, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know when you have a child that doesn't necessarily want to do something, or maybe does want to do something, but you talk to them on the way to something and get them primed for an experience. There is ways that she could be making him look forward to seeing us, and there are ways that she can make him be afraid to come see us. And she's the one in the car with him for however long, living with him for however long before those visits occur, and she is actively making that happen. When a child is screaming and crying and screaming and pitching a fit in public, and you do nothing but turn around and tell them, well, listen, if you go over to your parents, I'll reward you with this. She bribes him to do things instead of saying, hey, listen, this behavior can't happen. I mean, she's responsible for the way that he's behaving now, because you can see pictures and videos that we have sent you all the way up to this point. He's excited to see us. He left us happy, hugging and kissing, and can't wait to see you next visit. And then this time he's pulling back and scared and running and screaming. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
I mean, she is making that happen. There is no way that he is. How did he get a scare? How did he develop this intense fear of us when the last time we saw him, he left happy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely manipulation going on there, and there's no question. And our judge that we have, I mean, she's had this case from the beginning, but she's very savvy when it comes to people trying to do that and trying to undermine visitation. And so I know that you have certain feelings about how things went last go round, but um, she is one of our better judges. I feel like in terms of perception and being able to kind of read between the lines.
And so, in your opinion, too, and again, we're not feeling like know every single thing concrete, but in your opinion, what is lacking right now that we need to convince the court that we need to have him? Like, what things are in place or not in place right now that will do it? Just from your experience and your opinion, what do we need to focus on to make the best case possible for him to come with us?
Our focus going forward is consistency with these visits, and no matter how challenging they are, sticking with them and working on getting him back to that place that it was when you guys had that last positive visit where he wasn't leaving and was excited.
Okay.
And that is going to be the difference in how the total outcome is.
If you do hear from her lawyer, can you obviously let us know
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
what it is that he is telling her she is allowed to do, and what we are allowed to do, so that we have some sort of documentation, I guess, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because
I'll try to nail down as specific information with him about how y'all are,
I mean,
gonna
there's
work.
nothing in the documents that state how close she has to be, how
Right.
nothing is ever said in any of those things. So we're going based on what's been going on. So for her to do
Right.
something different
Yeah.
and then say she's allowed to, well, we don't have any knowledge that you're allowed to do that. So what specifically is she allowed to do? What specifically are we allowed to do that can be enforced?
Yeah. I will try to nail down as specific as possible how that's going to look. I don't know that he's going to respond back to me, but if I can get, if I can get it in writing where that, could you please have your client just within, you know, view, but not right up on them, that's a very reasonable request. And I think if
Ideally,
she's
if
not
there was
going to,
somebody else that could bring Kendrick, that would be the one.
I know, I know. That's where we're going forward from here, though. If there were to be anything after this court date, and I told her the last go round, I said, I said it's difficult having her as the supervisor, and it has been. So
Mm-hmm.
the court's aware that that's a problem. Um, it's not lost on them that we probably need somebody else. So,
Okay.
but I will try to iron down, you know, some direction on what. I mean, he's not going to advise her that she can't be right up on there because I think she's a little domineering
You think?
in her approach with him too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, but there again, we'll just do the visit, stick it out, be as, you know, for lack of a better word, as patient with the situation as you can. This is our last one before we get back in there. Um, but yeah, that's the biggest thing is just consistency on these visits, making sure that they happen.
Last question, Tiffany. I was do you have any idea what the specific issue is as far as the custody part with Kendrick? Like, and regardless of opinion, what is it that is the status right now? Like, is it to prove that I'm not a threat or a hindrance or yeah, I'm trying to get what the specific issue is with the court and how things are being looked at now. Is there a thought that I may not possibly be married to Jennifer? If there's a financial concern, we don't. I mean, whatever it is,
No,
what is
I
the
don't think
thing?
any. Yeah, none of that stuff's been raised. Right now, we're at the emergency phase where there was an emergency motion
Uh
filed,
huh.
and is this emergency real or is it not? That is where we are right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That makes sense. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for your time, and we will
All
definitely
right,
let
you're
you know how the
welcome.
visit goes.
All right, and I will let you know what information I get from that file when I go down here in a little bit, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.